Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ed America TV. Happy New Year from the Ed America family. My name is James, one of the e-guides here at Ed America, and we welcome our audience members joining us online. We hope that you're doing well and staying safe. Ed America is the United States Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. Today, we will be having Get to Know the States, New England. But before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. I have here a question for everybody. True or false, New England is a region that is made up of 8 unique US states. Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving a live shout out to whoever can answer correctly on our social medias. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag at America's Instagram account. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce to everyone our moderator for today, Mas Naufal Raihan Riyandi, 2015 to 2016 Kennedy Lugar Yes alumni from South Dakota. Mas Naufal, the stage is yours.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And also, I would like to say selamat datang untuk semua para hadirin yang hadir di social media, even in Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram, and all of the social medias that we have so far. And okay, let's talk about New England. So before that, I would like to introduce our speaker. This is actually a great speaker. His name is Afif Akbari Habibi. Afif is a student in Andalas University, majoring in international management. Afif is one of the grantees of the Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards, or EESMI, studying in Boston University, Massachusetts, United States. In his department, Faculty of Economy, Afif has always represented numerous events and activities, both national and international. And he represented the Faculty of Economy in 2 consecutive NUDC campaign. He also awarded the best presenter in international event between 6 universities from Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand in an IMT Global Triangle program. So here we go. We already connect with Afif. Hello, Afif. Can you hear my voice?
Hello, Kanofile.
All right.
Yes.
So how are you,
Very
Afif?
clear. Well, I'm great, actually.
All
I am very eager to share my experience to everyone.
Great. I love your background anyway and your jacket. That's cool.
Yes, it's actually a background of Boston also.
Oh,
USA.
nice. All right, cool. So
Good.
without any further ado, I would like to give the time in the stage to present your presentations. Okay, the time is yours, Afif.
All right, awesome. Give me 1 second about that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wait, no. All right. Can you guys see my screen? All right, is it visible now? It is, right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. So today I'll be presenting on behalf of America, which is about life in New England, which is the program for America to get to know your states. So like Kak Naufal stated before, my name is Afif Akbar Bibi, and I am an awardee of ISMA program to Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. So in this event, I'm going to talk about several points. The first one will be obviously about the introduction of what New England is, and then after that, lifestyle, culture in New England, and also, last but not least, it's about the education, fun facts, and also the fun facts about New England. So look forward to that. All right, so that's the agenda for today. So first and foremost is, why is it called New England? It's the United States, right? But why is it called New England? Well, ladies and gentlemen, so long time ago, jadi dari Inggris, it actually happens when a colony of England, mereka itu transmigrasi ke the first part of like the northern west coast, east coast of United States. That's the reason why they call it New England, Inggris Baru. That's why they call it the New England. So if you guys can see the map in here, it's actually in 1620. People actually traveled to those states before. So it's called the New England because that's where the Pilgrim Fathers, those people that founded the United States, actually traveled to New England from England itself. So fun fact too is that the first state that they actually set foot on is actually Massachusetts, which is the state that I was there for a semester. Right. So moving on. Uh, if you guys pay attention to the little icebreaker game before, there's actually six states that forms New England. So what are those states? So New England is in the east coast of the United States. So the northern east coast, those are the New England regions. So what are those states? So there are six states in the east coast that forms New England, which are Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. I personally have visited three of them, and then as you can see in the middle here, I'm actually in a with 19 other people in Boston, Massachusetts. So here is where New England is. So there are a lot of places, and obviously in every state there are also a capital city of that state. For Massachusetts, it's Boston. For Connecticut, it's Hartford. For Providence, for Rhode Island is Providence. Vermont is Montpelier. New Hampshire is Concord, and last but not least is Maine for Augusta. Right. So next is that I want to talk about like those city regions, perkotaan dari New England itu. Di mana sih daerahnya itu? Well, one of them is Boston. So little interesting fact about Boston is that Boston is the largest city in New England region and also is the capital of Massachusetts. Now, why did I say something about the those kind of perkotaan, kota-kota perkotaan out of the New England region? Well, it is because today Boston is the financial and trading center of New England. Like for example, banking, insurance, and other business services supports the economy in the New England regions. Kalau di sini mungkin ada ya teman-teman yang juga interested in economy. So those people interested in economy pasti kalian tahu tentang BCG atau Boston Consulting Group. Nah, those by the name itself suggest that they are from Boston. So in Boston, they have this Boston Consulting Group. There's also a bank called TD Bank, and also the Boston Mutual Life Insurance. So it's like the Wall Street of New England, jadinya. So Boston is sort of like Rhode Island. So in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and also Connecticut, those are the tempat-tempat perkotaan, if we have to say it like that. So those are the metropolitan cities, whereas I'll be talking about later on about the rural areas. But for now, let's talk about something else, which is the Puritans. So these people are the first settler of New England. And then those people were led by none other than John Smith. He is the English explorer, so that's why they called the area the New England, and also is the admiral of New England. So he's the one that named the states Massachusetts. So he named it after a tribe in Massachusetts that meant Blue Hill. So that's the reason why he named the state Massachusetts. So a little fun fact about that. All right, so I was talking about the metropolitan places in New England, which includes three states. Those are Massachusetts, obviously, and then Rhode Island, and also Connecticut. But what are those rural areas? Well, the rural areas are the northern part of New England. So most of the rural area in North England are Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire. So if you guys noticed the map before, Maine is a very huge state, right? But most of them are actually a mountainy area. So these states are one of the few places in East Coast that are mountainy. So there are a lot of mountains. And then it is a rocklands. So that means it has a very cold winter. And then last but not least is that New Englanders mostly lives in valleys and lowlands. So they don't live in the mountainy areas, but they live down hills of that. So the valleys. So those are the rural areas of New England. So I've explained about the metropolitan cities and also the rural cities. Now, let's get to the lifestyle and culture in New England. So how is New England? And when we're asked that question, let's start with the word that actually describes New England itself in the very first place. So the first one is historical yet modern. Why do I say historical yet modern? It's because historically speaking, it is the oldest region in the United States because settlers first moved into New England area. So it's very historical. There's no denying that there's a lot of historical buildings there. There's also like an historical place called Salem where the first witch trials were there. And then I said historical yet modern. The interesting thing about New England is that though it has some historical value to it, it is very modern. So I've never actually seen some place that is very modern, rather in like compared to New England. So that's why I said like historical yet modern. Now this one is an interesting one. So today tonight I just saw someone said in the chat. He says, "Go Patriots." Well, that is the New England spirit. So sport enthusiastic area. So a lot of people in New England really like sports. So there's this thing called in New England the Holy Trinity. What is the Holy Trinity? Well, the Holy Trinity is where they actually reverse it to like the club that you have to support if you're a New Englanders. So what are those? Well, if you see my video, like right now, I'm holding a New England Patriots cap. So if you're New Englanders or if you're in New England, you have to support the Patriots no matter what. And the next one is the Boston Red Sox. No matter what, you have to support them. And last but not least, one of the reasons why I went to the Boston University is because I've been supporting the Boston Celtics. So Boston Celtics for life. So it's a sport enthusiastic area, and then also it's very eventful. A lot of concert, a lot of things going on there. Educational. I'll get to that later. But there are a lot of students in New England where they actually study. So it's very educational and very diverse. So I've actually never met a highly concentrated people, diverse people in New England, in other places than New England. So they're very diverse. It's like one of the diverse places I've ever been. So also Instagrammable. So if you guys looked into my Instagram, I've posted a lot of photos in the New England regions. So therefore, it's very Instagrammable. And then last but not least is freedom. So there are a lot of people like in the background suggests people are there because they're expressing their own terms in protesting and etc. So it's a very good place to actually express your freedom and to show how much freedom you have. So those are the lifestyle and culture in New England. So another thing about the life in New England is that there are several things that you need to know in New England. Though I've said that one of the three, like the three states itself, is very big, right? Like Vermont, there's also like New Hampshire and also Maine. In terms of state, they are very big, but most are not farmers. So I've heard like my friends in here ask me like, "Yo, there are a lot of farmers in there, right?" And then I said, "Nope, salah. They are not farmers. Most of them do have like green areas, but they're not farmers. So that's one of the misconceptions that maybe Indonesians have when it comes to people in New England. And also about New England is that there are a lot of tourism. So there are a lot of foreigners that goes on a tour. So therefore, a lot of New Englanders also work as a tourism and also under the manufacturing side. And also one fun fact about New Englanders is that most of them are actually commuters, which means that ketika mereka mau pergi ke universitas or somewhere else, they usually travel with some trains. Sometimes they also travel with buses. So it's a very like interesting place to travel to because there are a lot of commutes everywhere. So like in the picture suggests, this is the green line of MBTA. So anywhere you go in Massachusetts, you can reach it with the MBTA stations, and literally anywhere in Massachusetts. So the furthest I've been to is actually Worcester, and it was very easy to understand too. Right. So this is one of the most hyped up thing of this event, which is about the education too. So what's so special about the New England's education? Well, let me tell you this. Out of the 25,000 plus universities around the world, New England has one of the best education. As you know, in here, there's a picture of MIT, which I've been to many times. They're actually number one ranked university in the QS rankings. So there's an IT. There's also Harvard. They're actually in the same city in the greater Boston area. So one and three around like out of the whole entire world, it is concentrated in one place. Then there's also Brown University in Rhode Island. There's also Yale. There's also Boston University, which I've personally attended to for one semester, and also Dartmouth. So out of those, there are four Ivy Leagues: Brown, Dartmouth, Yale, and Harvard. So if anyone is very interested in like going to the Ivy Leagues, well, New England's the best place for you to do. So there are a lot of educational sites there. Right. So let me talk to you about what my life is being a student in New England. Like the passage suggests, it's a heaven for students, a place where it isn't just about learning. So what I meant by a heaven for student is obviously about the facilities that is offered by the universities there. I personally have spent one whole semester in Boston University, and it was one of the most memorable and also wonderful time I've actually spent in the university. So let me tell you the difference between the educational system in Indonesia and also in one of the university in New England region, in Boston University. Well, the thing is that the learning system in Indonesia focuses more on theoretical approach rather than in Boston University, in the one of the university in New England, is that people actually the university actually expect you to also apply those theories. So it's a very different, like it's a different approach comparatively to what we have learned in Indonesia. Karena kan kalau misalnya kita di Indonesia, kita dikasih tugas saja sama dosen, or we just have to present and etc. But in one whole semester spending my time in Boston University, there are a lot more than just learning that. There's also like some icebreaker so that the lecturers would get to know the students better. And then, as you can see, there's also a time where I had to research my own paper and then present it. And then, yeah, and not just about that. There's also this thing called the PDP classes. So it's not just about learning something that you learn in textbooks, but also about other things that you can actually express. Like I said before, it's freedom. So in here, at the bottom right, there's a photo of me in front of the Boston University ice rink, where I'm allowed to actually take classes of ice skating because I'm interested. Because simply I'm just interested to it. So it's a heaven for student, a place where it isn't just about learning. So, like I said, it's a very fun place. So, if you're a student, definitely visit New England area as it is very interesting. Right. So, moving on, a little fun facts about the New England region. So let's start with the first one in Connecticut. So you guys know where Connecticut is, right? It is in New England area, like I've studied before. So Connecticut was actually covered by a glacier as recently as 15,000 years ago, making its landscape very young compared to the rest of the world. So the world is like a billion years old, and then like Indonesia too. But it was recently a glacier, so that means it's an ice. So it's a very young, like a very compared to other places, it's very young. And then next one is for the students, which is Harvard was the first college established in North America. Yes, North America. That means United States and also Canada. So it's the first ever college established. Next is for the science junkies, which is the one of the people that actually like science is that Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, is that he first demonstrated how it works in Boston in 1876. So it's very interesting. A lot of event happened in Boston actually. And then last but not least is that Boston is a home to the first subway system in North America, having begun in 1897. It's old, the eldest in the United States, but like I said before, historical yet modern. There, it is simply one of the best metro like system because I've been to several metro stations and they weren't as good as the ones Boston have. So historical yet modern. Those are several fun facts of the New England regions. So if thank you for everyone for your time for listening. And if you have any other questions that cannot be asked later in the session, feel free to send me any questions to my DM, which is at the my Instagram at AfifHBB. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Afi, for having your presentation. It was really, really excitement and really good of your presentations. And anyway,
Ah, that's good to hear.
speaking about the Boston or New England, I have some
Yep,
what do you call it? Some topics that I want to share with you. Like
for sure.
how long have you been staying there? I mean, like, is it like a long years, or it's just a couple months?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I've been to. I got this program, and then I got to study there. Fortunately, I was able to study for there for one whole semester.
Mhm.
So one whole semester in here doesn't translate to 6 months. It's more towards 4.5 months. So I studied there for 4.5 months, and then yeah, technically it's that amount. I haven't been to the United States before that, and that was actually my first time.
Cool. And what major are you in? What
I'm
major are you
actually
in?
in Indonesia or in the Boston
Of course, in Boston.
University.
Of course, in Boston.
Oh, in Boston. That's also one of the reasons why I went to Boston is that it offers um, the same courses that I'm taking in Indonesia. So I'm actually in the international management too. So it's very rare to find that kind of like fit in the program. So I was fortunate enough to get into the international management too.
Oh, I see. All right, cool. Thank you so much, though. Anyway, speaking
Yes.
about
Mhm.
Boston or New Englanders, I know that uh, Boston is a home for the company or the financial things, Yeah.
Yes.
And then you
Yep.
mentioned that for the rural areas, such as like the Maine and the North thing,
Mm-hmm.
why is it called like
No,
rural? I
part. Yes.
mean, do they have the city, like big cities is instead of Boston, or how do you call that as a rural?
Okay, so fun fact, I haven't actually been to the rural sites that I've mentioned. So like I've never been to New Hampshire, Maine, or even the Vermont itself. But the reason why it's called the rural area is simply because it's one of those mountainy areas. So there are a lot of mountains in the that three states. So in the United States, those places that are mountainy are usually in the west. So like Utah, like Denver, it is known for their altitude. But it is very rare to actually find places that has a lot of mountains or high ground. So the reason why I said rural area is because there are not many people living in those mountain areas. So, for example, Maine. Maine is the biggest state in the New England region, but most of their population actually lived in the valleys, so not in the mountain areas. So though they have a lot of mountains, most of the population don't live there. And then regarding to the question, is there a big city? Of course. So like the big city for Maine, I believe was Augusta. So I have several friends from there from Boston University, and then he said that it is also a big city. So there's no denying that it is also a big city. But if you go to other places in, let's just say, in the Maine, there are not a lot of people or a lot of population residing in that city. So it's a very countable population, a small sample compared to the other three states, which are Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. So I've been to Connecticut, Rhode Island, Providence, and also as I live in Massachusetts. So it's a very populated country.
Okay. So what you mean is that kalau di Maine itu mungkin lebih
Yes.
kepada banyaknya pegunungan dan nggak terlalu banyak populasi, even though it's really a big state, correct? Ya, dan
Yes, benar.
tentunya mereka juga punya ya kayak kota-kota besar kayak
Mhm.
tadi yang sudah disebutkan. Cuman untuk
Yes.
like as a living mungkin they prefer more like in Boston or in Massachusetts pretty
Mhm.
much, right? Cool.
Yep.
Um. Anyway, how does it feel as your international students there? Like, you
Yes.
Indonesian
Yes,
and
I do.
okay, can you tell
Right.
me more?
So one of the thing that really scared me before going to the United States in general is that prior to coming to this program to like the United States, there's this issue about the Asian hate crime. Kakak masih ingat nggak tentang yang hate crime di US? It's a very big thing, right?
Oh yeah, it's a really big thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very big thing. And me being an Asian myself, I was practically scared about going to the United States because the issue about the COVID-19 and then orang Asia kan diburuk sangkakan terhadap
True.
pembawa uh, virus itu. And it turns out that it was very tolerable place. So everyone in Boston, especially, is very diverse. Also, now, and also the thing that really mesmerized, that made me mesmerized was that I think, based on my observation, there are a lot more Asian people in Boston University rather than white people or any other thing. So it kind of made me feel like home, gitu. Jadi it's a very diverse place. Also, not just concentrated by white, white, other people, but there it's very a diverse place, which I personally think. And also being Muslim myself, I was sort of scared because you've seen a lot of issues in the TV that people are being judged by that. But it turns out people are very tolerable. So my roommate is a Baptist, and then whenever I wanted to,
Mereka tuh sangat open ya, walaupun bukan
yes,
orang
sangat
New Englanders atau ya mostly are Asians. Pernah nggak
benar.
terbesit dalam pikiran how come? Like even though you know the first New Englanders because from England they comes
Hmm.
to the North America and then why is that being Asians so many in Boston? Pernah terpikir nggak kayak gitu?
Karena sih Kak, karena kayak ini kan kita banyak orang Asia, but then there's not much like cases of racism. Jadi Afif pertama kali di sana ngelihatnya, lah kok ini nggak ada orang diskriminasi. Dan juga kadang ada teman Afif yang juga pakai jilbab, dia itu nggak kena diskriminasi. I was like, wow, actually people are very open ya terhadap perbedaan-perbedaan itu. So I always thought of that, but then it soon came to me. The I think the answer is because perhaps kalau di Massachusetts itu people are very civilized. What I meant by civilized itu adalah orang itu teratur. Buang sampah aja di tong sampah. Kalau misalnya itu kemarin Afif pernah di bulan-bulan Agustus sama Septemberan, there was this one week where there's zero cases of COVID-19. Jadi saking orangnya civilized di sana, there are literally no COVID cases. So I think that's part of the reason why nggak ada diskriminasi dan lain seterusnya itu because people are civilized. They know that it's not right to actually discriminate people, etc.
Wah, unik juga ya. They're
Yeah,
they're pretty much like obey to the peraturan-peraturan mostly of the time.
correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's actually cool. And you said there is a musola, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a big thing because okay,
Correct.
back to
Yes.
I'm probably gonna tell me a story a little bit. Jadi kembali lagi
Hmm.
waktu aku juga sempat exchange ke South Dakota, I haven't
Oh.
find any musola provided by the schools. And it was really amazing
Uh-huh.
when you told me that there is a musola or a place to pray
Yeah.
provided
Yeah. Of
by the
course.
Boston University. That's really cool. Is there any how big is the Muslim populations there that Boston wants to make or provide the musola? Do you think?
Okay. So about that, I'm not really entirely sure about the Muslim population in the Boston area, but I can confidently say that in the Boston University area itu banyak. Karena dari itunya sendiri, itu kita ada klub namanya ISBU, which is Islamic Society Boston University. Nah, kita kalau misalnya itu banyak tuh acara-acaranya juga Kak. Dan also it's the organization that's also funded by the Boston University. Jadi mereka juga bakal dapat funding from Boston University to expand their clubs. Nah, jadi I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of people di extracurricular itu in that club, and then there are a lot of Muslim population di Boston University-nya aja. Cuman in terms of the Greater Boston area, I'm not entirely sure. Tapi itu ada dua masjid yang di dua masjid bukan musola ya, yang di around Boston area that I know of. Jadi needless to say, I think if my estimation is right, mungkin banyak juga populasi Islam di sana. So I'm thankful for that actually.
Setidaknya there is a club to make sure that we
Yes.
gather, right? Making an event or
Correct.
something. That's actually great.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
Okay, speaking about, you told me about the education is like the biggest thing in one of the
the
biggest
best.
thing in Massachusetts, the best.
Yes.
Do you think how does it? How can I say this? How come New England becomes so great in education? So, like, what makes it better than any other states that you think?
Okay, that's a very interesting
I
question
know.
actually. Ya, mengapa Afif berpikir apa sih namanya New England area itu banyak universitas yang bagus itu? Karena kan itu Ivy League. Like I think there are four Ivy Leagues in the New England area: Brown, Yale, Harvard, and also what's one more? Did I say Yale? Yeah, those. So those are the dark ones. Sorry. So Ivy Leagues itu ada empat di New England area. And then kalau kita di Indonesia kan sering tuh dengar istilah-istilah Ivy League. But it's totally different than what we think. That's a lot more than that. Jadi di Ivy League itu juga orangnya itu bebas. So it's not just your typical university juga. Jadi people can actually like it's the right environment to also learn. Jadi juga kalau menurut Afif mengapa itu tempatnya New England itu bagus untuk education is simply because the situation, the facilities offered by those university itu tepat untuk student, nggak lebih dan juga nggak kurang. So it's the right amount of facilities offered to them. Gitu kan. But that's
So
just my reason.
yeah, so it's pretty much like if we compare to Indonesia, Yogyakarta is a place for the students. So like in the US,
Yes,
Massachusetts
bisa
would
dibilang
be
gitu.
yeah, would be pretty much like
Ya,
Yogyakarta. That we
benar.
could say, right? Um,
Ya.
jadi kalau begitu masyarakat di sana sangat really what do you call it? Like sangat peduli lah terhadap pendidikan ya. Sampai setingkat itu ya.
Ya, sangat. Makanya, and also if I'm not mistaken ya, I might have to check my fact, but kalau nggak salah itu Massachusetts, state-nya Massachusetts in general ya, which is in New England area, has one of the most highest graduation rate in the United States. Jadi dari 50 states itu Massachusetts is the highest. Jadi that's also one of the fact kenapa educationnya itu bagus. Maybe it's already embedded in their culture gitu.
So you've been really lucky to be one of the students that
I know
can go to Boston
exactly.
University, right?
Right. Yes, I am very lucky to be a part of that people that also goes to Boston University.
Do you find yourself a new hobby during study or during in New England?
Oh yes, I love ice skating.
Oh, you love
So
ice skating?
yes, so in Boston University they give us like PDP classes. So PDP classes are like classes that you can take that's outside of your academic courses. So I take ice skating. I was very interested about like ice skating karena orang Indonesia kan ngelihat ice skating itu kayak wah salju gitu juga wah karena nggak ada di Indonesia dan jarang kan. Nah, and then me being an Indonesian pasti mau tuh interested. And then it turns out kita bukan hanya sekedar ice skating tapi juga ada instrukturnya juga yang ngajarin kita how to do ice skating. So I took the basic ice skating classes and it was one of the best time that I had in Boston. Jadi kayak mikir-mikir juga ini kalau balik ke Indonesia mau bikin ice skating nggak ya? That to that point that I really like it gitu. Jadi gitu kak, kayak ice skating is the very fun thing. Kalau kakak personally pernah ice skating nggak kak?
Oh, pernah dong, pernah dong. It's one of the best
Oh ya,
moments
seru
that
kan ya?
I've had.
Exactly, right?
Apa ya? Lebih specifically ke snowboard sih sebenarnya. Lebih suka ke snowboards
Ah,
because
iya
like you
iya.
know nggak begitu apa ya? Kayak keren aja gitu pakai snowboards. It's pretty much like skateboards,
Yes.
but ya
Iya
keren
iya.
aja lah kayak di main games gitu.
Benar 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 benar. Yes.
Okay. I think I have one more questions before we start for the
Okay.
Q&A. Uh,
Alright.
okay, tell me what are the similarities between your country there and Jakarta? And what do you like the most?
Oh, Jakarta. Um, I think specifically talking about Jakarta, I don't think I am the right person because I'm from Padang
Mhm.
personally. Cuman kalau what I've seen in Jakarta is that there are a lot of people in Jakarta, obviously, and then seeing a city like Boston, there's also a lot of people. There are literally like people everywhere I go. So that's one of the similarities that I find in the city of Boston and also Jakarta. And one of the things that I like in sorry kak, ini yang I like from Boston or what?
Oh, yeah, sure. Or
Yang
New
dari Boston
England,
ya,
or
oke.
yeah.
Oh, New England.
Anything you
Okay.
share.
Anything. Okay. So let's talk more about the New England. One of the things that I like from New England is the commute, the transportation. Kadang ketika aku pergi ke Connecticut, it's just by bus. When I want to travel Massachusetts, I can go use the MBTA station, and literally, you can get there anywhere using the commute rails or like the public transportation. It's simply one of the best. So that's one of the thing I like.
So you like taking the uh, public transportations more because it's more
Yes,
clean.
yes,
It's
it's very
like
convenient.
yeah, it's cleaner
Yes,
and it's also
exactly.
fast. Correct. That's cool.
Benar, yes, correct.
Hopefully we can apply it in Jakarta as well because I know
Amin.
banyak ya di sini walaupun transportasi dan lain sebagainya populasi juga banyak, so we need that kind of thing
Mhm.
to make
Benar,
sure our problem is actually eased already. Okay.
benar biar convenient ya kak.
Bener banget, bener banget.
Iya.
Anyway, Afif, I already find I got some questions from all the audience.
Oh
We get the
wow, let's
platform
hear it.
from Facebook and YouTube, Instagram. But the first one, here's from Facebook. They don't mention the username, but the question is, how people in there treat you since you are Asian. So,
Oh, oh, like I said before, orang-orang sana itu sangat welcoming ya. Jadi Afif jadi double minority di sana, jadi seorang Asian dan juga seorang Muslim itu. I thought that I was the prime target for discrimination. Cuman selama Afif di sana, I never personally experienced any discrimination. Dan juga orang malah interested in like my talk kayak kalian ada itu nggak sih Asian hit juga di Indonesia? So they ask that kind of thing because they're concerned about me too. Jadi kadang juga in certain places juga there are a lot of Asian cuisine too, so it's easier to go there and people are actually orang-orang di sana juga udah sangat familiar with the Asian people juga. So it's a very good city to be in if you're an Asian. So in terms of how people treat me, sangat baik.
berarti talks about foods or talks about people, you don't have to be worried about it. Like
Benar.
bisa
Ya,
nemuin lah
no
ya
need to
mie
worry about that.
instan
Bisa.
di sana
Iya,
ya.
benar.
Mahal
Iya,
nggak? Mahal
iya,
nggak?
ada.
Is it that
Well,
expensive?
Kalau Afif itu kan kalau di Indonesia harga Indomie goreng biasa ya, itu harganya 2.500 lah paling mahal. Kalau di sana itu around 68 cents, itu belum termasuk tax. So around 10 ribuan. Jadi ya, of course it's expensive.
So it pretty much like 68 to 75 cents, I guess.
Yes, around that. Yep,
Okay.
exactly
Jadi
that.
nggak kesulitan lah ya kalau di sana. Besok-besok
Oh enggak.
we're going to Boston and then probably people will welcome us anyway.
Yes, yes, yes. Correct.
All right, thank you for the answer. And then the second questions come from YouTube. Okay.
Ooh.
Says, what is your most unforgettable moment in Boston? Okay.
Unforgettable moment. Oh, yeah, okay. I think one of the most unforgettable moment that I had in Boston was when I had to pick up something from FedEx. Jadi dormitory Afif itu dengan tempat FedEx itu sangat orang itu ya, like naik sepeda itu kurang lebih 35 menitan. Kenapa Afif ingin naik sepeda? Karena Afif juga mau travel dulu kan Cambridge at that time. Terus tiba-tiba udah malam. Nah, kan itu Afif udah agak takut gitu kan karena Afif malam-malam naik sepeda sekitar jam 11-12an dan itu Afif menjemput something that's very valuable. Nah, itu Afif pergi sendiri naik sepeda. And then it turns out Afif di sana malah ada orang yang ngiringin Afif kayak I think he was one of the police officers and then he was asking me why were you going late? Nah, because it was not well, I wouldn't say it was not safe, tapi definitely kalau their standard maybe it's not safe. Jadi Afif got the approach sama orang lain, but there's this police officer that offered me a ride to go back to my dorm simply because I was alone there. Jadi I was thinking gitu kayak wah orang sangat baik ya di Boston itu. So it's one of the best experience that I had.
So it's pretty safe if you go outside
Benar.
like 8, 11
Benar.
p.m., 12 p.m.
Exactly. Yes, it's very safe
Don't you go to sleep?
based on my experience.
Don't you go to sleep? I mean like
Ah,
ngapain jam 12 malam kan bisa jam 10, jam 9, jam 12 pagi,
i-
siang. Why is that?
iya makanya jadi
And then you pick
right
up the
karena Afif
valuable things, remember?
exactly, yes. Yes, jadi cerita itu adalah ketika itu Afif sore-sore ingin mengeksplor Cambridge. Jadi
Mhm.
Afif naik sepeda, ternyata udah lost track of time. And I was like, ini bisa nih kalau dari Cambridge langsung ke seaportnya gitu untuk ngambil paket. Ya udah deh, sekalian aja. It turns out itu lebih jauh dari than what I expected it to be. Jadi udah di sana ya udahlah langsung aja ke tempat paketnya itu. Terus ternyata pas baliknya ada police officer yang nawarin pulang. So it's a very good place. Actually, very safe too.
Okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. That's actually awesome. And we have
Yes.
another questions. Here we go. We have the username one. Naufal underscore Hanan. He said,
Ooh.
okay. He said, what do you like the most about Boston? Okay, what do you like the most?
Ah, what I like the most about Boston itu probably the university, Boston University. Jadi kenapa Boston University itu something that I like is simply because the experience that I had in Boston University itu sangat unik. Kayak I've never been so close to lecturers, and also the lecturers that I have itu kak adalah profesor ya. Jadi mereka nggak S2 atau apa, mereka itu professors. And seeing people of those structure, jadi mereka highly educated, I thought that I will be very distancing myself to them karena mereka udah pintar dan seterusnya. But it turns out that they are very approachable. Jadi kadang at some point Afif juga Zoom meeting personal sama dosennya gitu, sama profesornya, talking about life, talking about like what I should do in the future. Jadi it's sort of like mentoring gitu, tapi dengan profesor yang ngajar di Boston University itu. And also about the community, there are a lot of like communities in Boston University yang sangat open, yang sangat tolerable to me being a tribal minority di sana. Terus juga the freedom, like I said before. So there are a lot of things that in Boston University that I've never personally experienced. The other universities, which it will technically in my university, but I'm very thankful that I have experienced one whole semester of that, the Boston.
That's a
Hope
very
that answers.
unique moment, right? And also
Yes.
one of your best. What do you say again? What about where? Like the most. Like you like the most thing in Boston is
Yes,
your college.
Boston,
Yeah.
my college,
Sorry,
exactly.
tongue
Yeah.
twister.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Next it's from IX Forever.
Ooh.
The platform is from Instagram. So, which of the two cities is more a sports city, Boston or Philadelphia? So, yeah, this is actually two big
Okay.
cities that has a lot of rivalry in
Yes, of
sports.
course.
Okay, can you tell me more?
Okay. So, interesting fact. My sister is also in this program. She's in UPenn, University of Pennsylvania. She might also appear one time in this event. So she's in Philadelphia, and then she has also told me that the sporting in there is very big too, because there's the Philadelphia Eagles, there's this baseball team, the Phillies. But personally, I would say that my answer is biased terhadap Boston, simply because Boston itu everyone literally would die to support their team. Jadi I've never seen people actually go against the Boston Celtics. Jadi orang-orang di sana saking pridefulnya terhadap sports like those sports team. Kadang I've seen people actually wear jersey NBA in the blistering cold. Jadi kan kakak tahu nggak sih jersey NBA itu kayak sleeve-nya itu aja tanpa long sleeve.
Yeah.
They wore that in cold because out of pride. Jadi mereka itu saking pridefulnya terhadap tim yang disupportnya, they're willing to go to that extent. So I would simply say that Boston is a more like better sporting cast rather than Philadelphia. Jadi gitu. I might be biased, but I think that's how I feel. The very least.
So, the answer is really biased, but those of the cities are already great in sports. Like they have their own pride of
Benar,
the
ya.
sports.
Iya, benar.
Kalau boleh tahu, which kind of sports that they like the most? Like, is it all the general
Ah,
sports, or is it just like football? You know, the American football
hmm,
thing. How how
oke.
how does it?
Uh, actually, Afif juga belum pernah ke Fenway Park ya. Fenway Park itu adalah home of the Boston Red Sox, and I don't really know much about the Red Sox. Cuman karena Afif di Boston, jadi harus support Red Sox kan. Because don't get me wrong, Boston Red Sox is one of the best thing I've seen on TVs. Cuman kalau misalnya one of the sports that they support itu kayaknya I'm leaning towards NBA atau Boston Celtics karena Afif juga pernah ke gamenya Boston Celtics lawan Orlando Magic and the whole TD Garden itu stadiumnya Boston Celtics was bus electric. So everyone the seats was full. Everyone was screaming for their team, cheering when they score. And so yeah, I would say that the basketball team in Boston is bigger simply because I've experienced the place itself in the first place. Dan kalau misalnya tentang American football, it's not in Boston. Nah, itu New England Patriots itu base-nya bukan di Boston. Dia it's somewhere in like the New England area juga, but it's not in Boston. Jadi maybe it's not really that concentrated in Boston gitu areanya. Gitu Kak.
All right. Can you mention one name for the NBA player in Boston?
Oh, of course. My favorite player there is Jason Tatum. He's wearing number 0 jersey,
Oh,
and I was able to get a very close-up photo with him.
oh, God, really? Oh,
Not
wow.
like not with him, but of him.
Okay, okay. But well,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least
yeah.
that's actually a good
At
moment
least
though.
yes.
I haven't got any one of
Correct.
those.
Yes. Yeah, I was fortunate enough.
Lucky you. Good.
Yes, very lucky.
Next from Anin Anindan. Anindan HN. Okay.
Mhm.
From the Instagram. How is the public transportation in New England area? Is it really easy to travel to another states?
Okay, another states. Okay, that's a very interesting one. So in terms of their own transportation, like for example, like public transportation in like Massachusetts, it's very easy to access. When it comes to the other states, I don't really use the transportation offered by MBTA. Jadi MBTA itu yang dari Massachusetts also like also reaches to other New England areas. Kayak pernah juga ke Providence sananya. I think it's easy to use those supported transportation dari government, but there are other things too yang kita bisa. Misalnya Afif biasanya kalau misalnya ke Hartford, Connecticut bisa pakai Flixbus. Nah, jadi kalau misalnya transporting to interstate transportation itu kita bisa pakai apa sih namanya company-company swasta. Nah, jadi it's easy, but it's not regulated by the government directly kayak MBTA atau like that kind of line of transportation. So to sum it up, transportation is easy, but when it comes to interstate, it's not. It's also easy, but not as easy as going in the states.
Oh,
Hope that
so
answers it.
so when it comes to trying travel around the Boston or trying travel to around to your states, they would be really
Mhm.
easy to find like commuter
Yes,
lines or
easy. Correct.
taxis, cabs. Yeah, but
Yes, yes, very easy.
do they have any government? Well, you said you will provide by the public or private, the
Mhm.
private one
Yeah,
for
yeah, the private ones.
um,
Yeah.
connecting to another states. Like, do they have
Mhm.
for the government in for example,
Ah,
if we call
yes,
in Jakarta, we have
yeah. Transjakarta ya,
yes, we have
like
Transjakarta.
that. Okay. I believe they also have it. Itu namanya Megabus. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tapi itu salah satu yang di own by the government untuk interstate transportation juga. Jadi this is also one of the life hack. Juga kalau misalnya kita mau pergi dari luar states yang jauh, misalnya dari Boston ke DC, ya. Itu kalau misalnya kita mesen bus yang Megabus owned by the government, it's much cheaper if we order it like 1 month or 1.5 months prior to that. Jadi teman-teman kalau misalnya mau pergi ke US, the United States, please try that life hack as it saves so much money too juga.
Wow, another life hack. Thank you.
Yeah,
So we
life hack
actually
ya.
needs to pre-order first before we
Yeah,
come.
pre-order that. Yeah, benar. Kak.
Cool, cool. Now, another questions. The username Andy and Adrian Lamado. Okay. What is the this is from Facebook. What is the most
Mhm.
challenging thing during your daily life there, especially in terms of the differences of education system? The sorry, especially in terms of the differences of education system there and what you had experienced in University of Andalas. Okay.
Okay,
Okay, that's cool
that's a
questions.
very interesting one. Yeah, that is a very interesting question too. Okay, so in terms of difficulties, I would say it's more about like the first few days about it, but I soon handled that like an exchange student, right? Jadi yang beberapa hari pertama itu difficultnya itu as in like getting into classes because it's a very gimana ya Boston University itu kayak eh, kayak biasanya tuh di Universitas Andalas kelas-kelas Afif personally itu dekat kayak gedung kalau misalnya gedung A memang gedung A1, A2 atau like that like for different courses. Cuman kalau di Boston University itu kadang Afif harus pergi ke West Campus juga dulu for classes. Sometimes Afif harus pergi ke East. Jadi itu like Boston University kan sangat besar for me personally. Nah, jadi kadang harus naik bus juga dari satu kelas ke kelas lainnya. So, commuting for classes is very hard for the first few days. Karena juga kita estimasinya awalnya waktu itu, oh ini kelas berdekatan kan kayak I have classes that ends at like 4, terus kelas selanjutnya itu adalah 4:30 misalnya, 30 minutes. Jadi kita sangka bisa jalan aja sambil makan-makan dulu kan. Turns out it's very far. So commuting that was one of my biggest hurdle at first, but I soon handled it by like planning through. Habis itu something that's very different with Universitas Andalas and Boston University itu more about the learn learning juga. Jadi fun fact itu adalah Afif juga pernah ngambil course yang sama di Andalas under the name Leadership or Strategic Management. The thing is, maybe this I'm not blaming any party, but in that I only learned theoretical approach. Though the lectures are wonderful, it's more of a theoretical approach. Jadi mungkin it is also due to the fact that online ya kalau di Indonesia. Kalau di sana kita udah offline, so tatap muka, luring kan. Jadi in that sense, we also use like application of those theories. Jadi it's something that very useful when it comes also when you are if you inspire to be a leader kan. Jadi bukan hanya teori, kita juga belajar bagaimana cara mengaplikasikan teori-teori yang kita belajar. So it's definitely something that I was very fond of in Boston University.
Keren banget. Jadi
Yeah.
well, not trying to promote, but I'm his senior actually. Jadi kalau ngomongin masalah kampus ya, kampus Andalas, ya, I wasn't in your major. I'm environmental engineering. So
Oh, yeah, yeah.
jadi betul banget. Emang kayaknya itu hal yang harus di-expand ya, sama harus di-improve lebih
Benar.
baik ya. Karena
Iya, benar.
theoretical approach-nya lebih banyak dibandingkan dari applications. Dan itu jadi
Benar,
PR
benar
besar
sekali.
sih sebenarnya. Mudah-mudahan kita bisa
Yes.
mencoba mengaplikasinya kan ya, walaupun
Amin.
step by step gitu.
Iya. Hopefully.
Thank you. Semoga menjawab. Andy, okay, come again. Questions with the same person, Andy Adrian Lamado. Okay, so he actually has two questions. What is the most valuable lesson that you have learned from your experience there? Is it about academic or life experience more?
Is that the first question, or should I wait for the
Uh,
second question?
that's actually combined. So the first one
Oh,
was
combined.
asking about the education system, but this one is the
Mhm.
new one. Like, what is the most value lessons that you get there? And is
Okay.
it more like academic or is it more like the life lesson learned?
Hmm. Okay. So I think I already touched upon this answer, like question before. So for future reference, maybe I'm just going to keep it short. But the education system there is definitely one for student to actually try. It's very worth it to try because it's simply just one of the best experience. And when it comes to like, sorry, Kak, what was the second question?
Uh, do you think you've learned more about academic or
Ah,
life experience?
Actually, yeah, to answer that, it's actually very both. So about academic, there's obviously, like I stated before, differences in the teachings in University in Indonesia and also the university in Boston or the New England region. But when it comes to life lesson, I also think that I learned a few things, which is that people are very open in those areas. Jadi orang nggak akal, people will not actually beat around the bush when they
Okay,
wanted to say something. Kalau kita kan di Indonesia ada budaya yang harus basa-basi dulu ya kak. Nah,
true.
misalnya kita mau minta yang A, kita harus basa-basi dulu in order to get to the point A. But I learned that it's much more convenient if we don't beat around the bush and then directly say what we wanted. So that's one of the life lesson that I also think is good. So we have to often express ourselves to get what we want. So and it's easier to do that by going straight rather than beating around the bush.
Okay. Jadi lebih kepada ya what you need and what you want just mention. As long as
Benar,
it's actually
yeah,
still polite, in a polite condition, right?
correct. Yeah, in a polite
Okay.
condition. Benar.
Soalnya we already used to with basa-basi. It's actually in the
Benar,
East
iya.
cultures basically.
Oh, the East
So
culture, benar.
yeah,
Yes.
we don't really get
Kalau
apa ya. We're not gonna say this is the wrong one, this is the right one. So
yeah,
it's pretty much like how good you place the cultures
benar.
itself, right? And you
Yes,
got it already.
yeah.
Cool.
Correct.
Don't get tired. We still have a couple more
Yeah,
of
yeah, it's okay. Oh,
questions.
I'm very energetic. I'm very
I know.
energetic to answer this
Me too.
questions.
Okay, from BJ Suamintaya. From Zoom, actually. Based on the
Hmm.
education which you studied in Massachusetts and what kind of field of job you want to take.
All right. Okay, that's a good question. So I took three classes in Boston University. Yang pertama itu leadership, like I've said in several of my speech. Yang kedua itu adalah business strategy, and then also international business management. And also, fun fact about Boston University is the hardest university to get an A.
Oh,
Jadi kalau misalnya kita dari seluruh universitas around the world, Harvard, Stanford, it's actually easier to get an A there rather than Boston University simply because of the apa sih namanya influx in nilai in grades in there. So fun fact about Boston University. Nah, cuman when it comes to the classes, like I said before itu mereka nggak tentang teori, mereka juga tentang application on that knowledge. Jadi contohnya dalam business strategy, kita bukan hanya bicara tentang kasus aja, but we also implemented dalam artian kita pernah di kelas itu kayak role playing as in uh, kita itu kayak business consultant, and then we are going to a company, and then we detect which kind of like problem they have and how we would solve it as a consultant. Nah, and that's something that we don't do much in Indonesia. Jadi those kind of I am very lucky to actually get that opportunity to learn firsthand from professors yang juga mengajar di salah satunya pernah dulu bekerja di Boston Consultant Group. Nah, jadi I'm very fortunate to get like mentored by a person like him. Nah, jadi dan juga International Business Management itu dosen Afif waktu itu Kak juga dari luar negeri juga. Jadi she was from Mexico, but she traveled around the world. So very fitting from the name International Business Management. Jadi perspektif dia around the world itu juga terbawa di dalam kelas. Sampai-sampai kita itu di kelas juga dibilang global village simply because it is diverse and the perspective we get in that class was simply phenomenal. Gitu. It's a very good place.
It's because he or she, I don't know, your lecture. Yeah, speaking of your lecture,
She,
but jadi dia karena sudah terbiasa ya. He or she already used to
benar.
with it, and he or she is trying
Mhm.
to apply it to the class. That's actually really good.
Yes.
Kira-kira speaking of the things of the educations that you told me about having a
Mhm.
mentor from the consultant. Ada
Yes.
tiket gak untuk masuk ke BCG group?
Oh,
Just kidding.
itu manifesting ya, itu manifesting. Semoga bisa ya. Jadi kita menggunakan koneksi nih Kak.
Oh
Jadi
gitu.
hopefully I can use that connection. But who knows what the future will uphold. But certainly I have made several connection with other professors too. Jadi kalau misalnya, karena Afif dosen leadership Afif itu juga dari Harvard lulusannya. So sometimes she also teaches in Harvard. So I might be able to approach my connection. Maybe if I wanted to continue my master degree in Harvard next time, bisa tuh. Maybe ya, hopefully I'm manifesting menggunakan koneksi itu pergi ke Harvard. Karena juga Afif juga dapat surat rekomendasi dari dosen Afif itu for internship yang Afif daftar di Indonesia. So it's a
Oh.
very open talk with my professors di sana di Boston.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's actually a nice value. Good connections, good
Correct.
value.
Exactly.
Okay, we have two more questions before we wrap up.
Right.
From Meggy Hedian Nura with the Zoom platform. How is the education system and lectures there? What makes it different? And are campus organizational activities there as busy as Indonesia? What do you think?
Okay. Kalau education ya, I've said something about the apa sih namanya di Boston, like in the Boston University itu simply the best. So I've explained that plenty enough. Cuman about organization ya di Indonesia atau di Boston itu, is it the same? Well, kalau Afif itu personally kalau di Andalasnya itu kan I am the president of the debating club, and obviously there are a lot of activities di being a president there. Nah, jadi banyak juga sparring, banyak juga like that those kind of debating activities yang Afif laksanakan di Universitas Andalas itu. Nah, cuman kalau di Boston University itu, despite me comparing it directly from a president point of view, it's much more than that. Jadi di sana itu literally every club have their own activities. Even a small club like apa ya, kayak club film, they have their own building where they are able to do cinematography, and then it's not just about photography, tapi mereka itu sangat abundant in terms of works. Jadi kadang kita sering nih ngajakin teman kita yang di, kalau Afif yang ngajakin teman Afif di Boston itu kadang, yo, do you want to go outside and then like eat outside? Kadang dia bilang, I'm sorry, I'm really busy with my club. Jadi saking sibuknya itu, I'm also like very astounded by those things. Nah, juga that's one of the things that I learned in the organization, is that people are also very close to like everyone. Jadi relationship kita antar klub itu sangat dekat. Jadi senior itu tidak ada istilah senioritas di organisasinya itu. Kalau di Indo kan kadang kita ada yang senior itu kita harus baik-baik. Kalau di sana straightforward, as in like kita itu di approach sama senior, dan juga kita sama senior itu sangat dekat juga kan. We don't have to have those kind of like senioritas, like we don't have to, I wouldn't say respect, cuman kayak tidak sestiff yang ada di Indonesia. So it's definitely something that I like also in the Boston University, but obviously itu kan different culture juga ya. Jadi gitu sih sebenarnya perbedaan yang di itu Boston, di itu ya, organisasi Boston, dan juga di UNAN, Universitas di Indonesia.
Berarti kalau sibuk banget ya. Sibuk sama klubnya, tapi juga kita, even though we have seniors or we have the older person that yeah, probably older 2 years, 5 years, but we still
Yes.
can connect with them easily without having
Benar.
hesitations. Ya, kayak gitu ya.
Exactly, yes. Dan juga di sana kan. Jadi
That's
it's
what I
not
felt
just about
actually.
ya makanya kalau orang-orang sana I was actually very surprised gitu juga karena wow they're actually this open and they also have this kind of activities and etc. It's just outstanding gitu kan.
All right, thank you. And then, oh no, I thought it's gonna be the last questions, but this is actually one
Oh
more.
yeah, it's okay. All
There are
good.
two questions left. So from
All good.
Pusparas2, with the platform is from Instagram. So she said,
Mhm.
grateful to meet you both. I'm wondering
I'm
your
also
next
grateful.
plans after graduations. Would you mind to share? Thank you. So, okay, go
Ah
ahead.
yes. Um, Actually, that's a very good question where I also wonder to myself, like, what should I do after graduation? Nah, Afif juga kebetulan kan salah satu awardee dari Excel Visual Leaders. Jadi Afif harus membuat individual development plan untuk Afif, untuk gimana Afif harus memperkirakan what kind of goals I have in mind within the next 2 years of graduation. Nah, Afif kalau di sana ngeletakinnya itu adalah langsung kerja. Jadi if I can work in the sector that I am that's within my field, I'm totally fine with that. Cuman kalau Afif jujur, after experiencing the learning, the difference in learning the Boston University, I wondered to myself, should I actually pursue higher education? Karena dulu mikirnya kalau higher education di langsung, maybe it's not that worth it karena I was stigmatized by education yang ada di Indonesia. Though it's good, it's not as thing that I would like sacrifice my time untuk mengejar. Jadi right now I'm still leaning towards getting a job. Cuman kalau misalnya uh, berapa persennya, it's not entirely 100%. I would say 75%-an mungkin leaning towards job dan yang 25% itu digunakan maybe untuk for continuing studying. But thank you for that question because I also have to decide my mind as soon as possible.
Those are really good questions. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, last questions before we wrap up. So this is the last
All right.
questions from Arjo. Wow,
Wah,
he.
akhirnya dia tadi
Oh, is that
I've
one of
seen
your
the
friend?
chat. No, no, no. But I've seen the chat, and then he asked. I think he's very enthusiastic about the event. I applaud him for that.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, he actually has six questions, but I'm sorry, but I'm gonna read it just one unique question from him. So,
All right.
uh, s- why is that New England is really famous with the seafood,
Oh.
regardless of his areas that has more mountains and also forests or trees. Okay, and then we're gonna close this.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Jadi di Boston University itu, Boston University, di Boston itu ada yang namanya like their lobster roll. Nah, lobster itu kan seafood ya, and it's very famous in the like in Boston, not just in Boston, but New England area. People actually go there for the Boston like lobster roll. Nah, dan juga itu ada yang namanya untuk New England's clam chowder, which is clam seafood. Nah, one of the reason why it is a big despite the mountainy areas yang bilang itu tadi, karena areas like Providence, like Rhode Island, Massachusetts itu terletak juga di tepi Atlantic, like the Atlantic Oceans. Jadi juga like there are a lot of like abundances in like seafood resources, and then I personally have tried the clam chowder and also the lobster roll, and it was phenomenal. Though I still prefer makanan Indonesia ya, maybe I'm biased karena orang Indonesia kayak makanan itu enak-enak ya. But it's definitely something that you should like for everyone that visits New England area, you have to like try those two things gitu. Jadi kenapa New England terkenal dengan seafoodnya? Maybe perhaps because they are very close to the Atlantic Oceans. Jadi itu satu. Dan juga despite the pegunungan, yes, pegunungan itu kan bagian itu ya utaranya kayak Vermont, the apa sih namanya New Hampshire dan juga di what's the thing? Alright, yeah, di itunya Agustanya. So those places Uh, those are the mountain areas. But in terms of that, karena mereka mungkin dekat itunya Atlantic Ocean-nya. Itu sih.
Diuntungkan oleh geography ya, terutama ya.
Ya, diuntungkan
Makanya
geografi. Kalau
seafoodnya
kakak
enak
sendiri,
banget.
ya, kalau kakak sendiri pernah coba clam chowder-nya nggak, Kak?
Oh, sadly no, I haven't. I wish.
You should definitely. Yes, you should definitely try it whenever you go to like the United States or like specifically New England. It's very good.
Definitely I will. Definitely. Okay. I think that's the end of the questions. Thank you so much, Afif,
Awesome.
for answering
Yes.
all these wonderful questions. Those people are really exciting for your presentations. And I think
Yes, I'm
this is
also-
also the end of our sessions then. So thank you once again, Afif, for your
No problem.
for sharing your good informations and also experience. And then I will give it
Yes.
the stage to James again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too, Kak. Pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much to our speaker, Mas Afif, and our moderator, Mas Naufal, for today's discussion. It's been great having you guys with us. Earlier in the event, we asked audience members a question, and that question is, true or false, New England is a region that is made up of 8 unique U.S. states. And the correct answer to that is false. New England is a region located in the northeast corner of the USA. The region is made up of 6 unique US states, which is Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Shout out goes to Nadifa Habibi from Zoom for answering correctly. And thank you to everyone who has participated. Don't forget to tune in next time for another chance to get a shout out from us. Now you may be wondering, how could I develop an awesome idea for a place like this? It's very easy. All you need to do is go to our website at www.atmerica.or.id, select create a program, and click collaborate with us. All event proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might be featured here soon. You can also subscribe to our newsletter for all our weekly updates. And that's it, folks. That wraps this episode. It's been fun, but we have to say goodbye for now. Follow our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ATAmerica for our fun contents, event updates, and so much more. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. My name is James, and we'll see you at the next At America TV episode. Goodbye.